guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miranda and this is Delilah. She might make a couple cameos, but today I wanted to talk about To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And yes, I'm like 3 or so years late, but nevertheless, here we are and I want to talk about it. I saw the movie before I read the book. I heard of the movie before I even knew that the book existed because I was kind of out of reading young adult by the time this came around. So when it came out, I loved the movie and I was really curious about the book. So I immediately, obviously, went and got all 3 and I speed read them. And I remember not liking them. I did get rid of the second and third book, but I did keep the first one. And I've been going through my bookshelf and rereading things to see if I want to keep books or give them to a used bookstore. I decided that since I haven't seen the movie in a couple years and I haven't read the book in a couple years, that I would give both a go. And this time I read the book before I saw the movie. I remember not liking Peter as much in the book, by like a lot. I mean, I think everybody was kind of obsessed with Noah Centineo just for a little bit. And I found that Peter in the book was a little bit more cold and didn't hold, I guess, like a softness that Noah Centineo brought to Peter. And while they both have like the ego and they both make stupid decisions, there was still, you never doubted that Peter in the movie genuinely did care. Whereas I felt back when I first read this book that Peter in the book had moments where I was like, he doesn't even care. Now, after reading the book, I feel a little bit differently. I feel as though Peter wasn't as bad as I thought he was. I think I was a little bit biased after seeing the movie first last time. I will give Book Peter more credit now after having reread it. Things I liked about the book more than the movie. I liked the flow of the book. I honestly, and this is why I decided I'm going to keep this book, is because I have been going through some stressful things in my life lately, and I found that this book was just a really good light read, and Jenny Han wrote a very nice world to just kind of get lost in for a couple hours. While it doesn't really delve super deep into any like heavy topics, or it's not like some ground shifting thing, it is exactly what it needs to be. It is a light, romantic read. I really liked that. I liked a little bit more of what she gave to Josh in the book than what Josh was in the movie. And I liked that there was a little bit more struggle between Peter, Josh, and Lara Jean in the book. Okay, so there are spoilers. I'll just blanket that right now because I'm about to drop one. They kind of teeter-tottered on whether or not I wished that they had included Josh kissing Lara Jean from the book in the movie. I still kind of can't decide if I'm disappointed that they didn't or not, because I will say that flipping to the movie, I don't think I would change a whole lot. I think that they are two separate ways of telling the same story, the book and the movie. And I think that both were done exceptionally well. I think that pacing in both was really good. I think that the writer of the screenplay for the movie did a really, really, really great job of finding ways to put as many details from the book as they could, all while keeping the plot going forward and not having it feel unnecessary. I do think that if they had tried to add Josh kissing Lara Jean in the movie, they would have had to add a lot of things that would have felt unnecessary in watching it versus reading it, if that makes sense. I toy with it because I do kind of wish that they had more moments between Lara Jean and Josh in the movie that made it a little bit more conflicting, so that when everything happened on her front porch between Peter, Josh, Lara Jean, and Margot, that it would have felt more impactful had there been a little bit more obvious struggle with everything that had happened, and if Josh had been able to express a little bit more how confused he was in finding out that Lara Jean had once had feelings for him. Back to what I liked about the book. I will say this. I didn't like the whole sex tape thing from the movie. I thought that it was a little like overplayed, the whole like, I made a sex tape even though I've never had sex. And again, I don't know if it's because I really struggle with like the immaturity of it, but also I feel like the fact that it was Jen that did it, like that did video it, and the fact that she never admitted to it and she never apologized, even though Jen and Lara Jean have a very beautiful moment that I still cry at every time in the second movie, in the second movie. And when they have that moment in the treehouse, it's beautiful and poignant and very true of friendships that just end and all of that. And I thought that that was really well done. However, after rewatching the first movie, it's kind of irredeemable. Like, I struggle to sympathize with Jen in the second movie because she never owns up to her actions and how it negatively impacted and very obviously hurt Lara Jean. And I think that that is something that I wish would have been handled differently. Like, if Jen had just been petty the way she was in the book, talking about how it was so gross that she had sex in the hot tub and all of these things, and everybody had assumed that that is what had happened, I think it would have been a little bit better than if Jen had videoed them and had all that happen, if that had all made sense. Adding the element of a sex tape or Jen videoing Lara Jean and Peter in the hot tub honestly gave Jen's character a giant black mark, and they never really put in the work to redeem her from that well enough in my eyes as the viewer. Whereas if they had just stuck with what is in the book, where she saw them and gave Lara Jean a hard time for it and everybody believed that that is what had happened, I think it would have been the same conflict without unnecessary dramatics and the ruining of one of their main characters. So I do wish that that had been done differently, but other than that, I don't really have any like complaints. What I love about the movie, the director really relies on symmetrical shots, which, as myself, a person who loves symmetry and just, it's just very satisfying to watch. I do wish that there had been a little bit of differentiation. I think that there are moments where she does rely a little too much on them, where there could have been a little bit more creativity. However, given that it appears to be her style and that it was an intentional decision, I'm not too mad about it. The aesthetic and the color choices in the movie brought a lot of life to the scenery and the characters and showed a lot of personality without telling. And I think that that's a big thing that I look for when watching movies, is showing versus telling. Same with writing. If you can manage to slip in extra information without just outright telling me that that's what you're doing, it's a good thing. And I think that through set design and all of that stuff, that everybody that worked on the movie really found a way to slip in extra details about who Lara Jean and Peter were through that. And we got to know more of them as they were in the book through those little intricate things. And I really appreciated that. I thought the pacing was really good. Like I said, I never found myself, aside from the whole Josh kissing Lara Jean plot point, I never found myself when watching the movie sitting and going, oh, I wish that they had included this, or why did they include that instead of that? I didn't. The way that it was written and the way it was done was so eloquent that I didn't find myself sitting and comparing it with the book. I found myself watching it, getting lost in their world the same way I did with the book, and not even thinking of the two together. The same can be said for the book. A little bit with Peter, I still caught myself going, ooh, that's a little different. And you know what? I will also say that Kitty in the book is a little less likable. She's a little bit more immature, but I mean, like, she's 11, that's to be expected. But I guess like Kitty in the book holds grudges and kind of has a little bit more of a temper, whereas I feel like Kitty in the movie is more of just like rambunctious, I guess. Her things that she does that do show a little immaturity are just like, well, it's because she's 11, whereas in the book I'm like, okay, well, she's 11 and she's angry. Like, I really like what, I believe her name is Anna. I apologize if that's wrong, but what Anna brought to Kitty's character made her a lot more likable in the movie to me. And it's not like she's unlikable in the book, but just if I'm going to compare the two, I thought that great improvements were brought to Kitty's character through Anna's acting. Same can be said for Noah Centineo and Peter. I felt that Noah Centineo, like I said, he added a softness to Peter that made you really root for him, even though he was kind of a dick sometimes, especially around defending Jen with the hot tub thing. But you still root for him and still see that his intentions are good. He is trying to do the right thing. And in the book, it's a little bit more like he's trying to do the right thing for him. It feels very self-centered, whereas Peter in the movie feels like he's trying to please everybody, and that's what's causing problems. And so I really did like that. And I think Lana Condor was the perfect Lara Jean. And it's interesting, after seeing the movie first and then reading the book, she brings a lot of visual, like physical quirks to Lara Jean that I found myself picturing when reading the book. And I don't remember there being like a ton of descriptors of like, I wrinkled my nose here. And then but I was able to picture more of what Lara Jean was doing in the book because I could see how Lana played it in the movie. And I found that to be very useful as far as reading the book and being able to immerse myself more into the story after seeing Lana as Lara Jean so thoroughly. I don't think that there's much more I have to say. I think at the end of the day, and this may become just my like general stance, but there is kind of an unfairness in comparing book to movie because they're obviously going to be two different entities. That said, if I had to choose one, if you hear my cat, I apologize. If I had to choose one, I think I would choose the movie simply because it is so visually pleasing. The way the director shot scenes, the colors in it, and seeing the chemistry between all the actors, it was so well cast between the sisters and Lara Jean's dad and just everything. I think that adds that little extra something that I would want to watch that more. Like if I could only watch or read one thing for the rest of my life as far as between these two things, I would much rather watch To All the Boys over and over than read To All the Boys over and over. That is not to discount this book. It is a really good book and I liked it more the second time around. Who knows, I may like it more the third time I read it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I hope you liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I saw the book before I read the movie. Yep.